Hey, what's going on everyone and welcome to the Dual Sanctuary. My name is Riviso and today we're taking a look at the deck profile
More savage than a supernova!
Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. This is my favorite deck that came out of the Zexal anime and one of my favorite decks in general. In the first part of the video we're taking a look at the deck profile, and in the second part we'll show off some gameplay to show you what the deck is capable of. And now, without any further ado,
Say hello to Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon!
Alright, first off, we're playing of course triple copies of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, a monster that has the power of 10 black holes put together, according to Kaitenyo. This is of course our main boss monster we try to summon as much as possible to use for XC summoning into more powerful monsters. Next up, we're playing one copy of Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon, one Photon Emperor and a Galaxy Summoner. Galaxy Eyes Afterglow is super important for one-turn kills against our opponent. It can double the attack points of the Xyz monster it was attached to, and it special summons itself to the field if you control another Galaxy Eyes monster. Photon Emperor can be special summoned to the field if it's sent to the graveyard from your hand or deck, and it grants you an extra normal summon, which is really nice because this deck has multiple monsters competing for your normal summon, so Photon Emperor really helps get those two monsters out. And one of those monsters is Galaxy Summoner. This card can reborn a Photon or Galaxy monster from the graveyard and change the level of one of your monsters to 4 to make it easier to make rank 4s. Next we're playing a lot of 3-off consistency cards. Triple Photon Orbital. This card can be equipped to a Galaxy or a Photon monster. Then you can send it to the graveyard to add a Photon or Galaxy monster from your deck to your hand. Next, 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier. You can special summon this card to your field by discarding another light monster, and when it's special summoned you can grab a Galaxy monster from your deck. We're also maxing out on the Galaxy Wizards. This card has 2 effects. It can change its level to level 8, but more importantly it can tribute itself to search for a Galaxy card. And this effect is not once per turn, so if you can summon it out multiple times you can use its effect to search again. And the last consistency card is Double Photon Jumper. This card searches for any Photon or Galaxy spell or trap if it's sent to the graveyard. So that's it for the consistency cards. We still have a couple of monsters left. 2 copies of Photon Delta Wing. If you normal summon this card you can special summon another one from your hand or deck. So this card really helps out go into your rank 4 Xyz monsters. The last mods we are playing are 1 copy of Photon Vanisher and 1 Galaxy Brave. You can special summon Vanisher to your field if you control another Photon or Galaxy monster, and it searches your deck for a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Galaxy Brave can be special summoned by revealing a Photon monster in your hand, and then it copies the revealed monster's level. So that's it for the monsters. Now let's take a look at the spells and traps. We are playing 1 Galaxy Trance, 1 Galaxy Expedition, and 1 Numbers Last Hope. These spell cards help you special summon your level 8 monster from your deck or graveyard to the field, so you can make the overlay network and go into your Xyz place. Galaxy Trance special summons a Photon from your graveyard and a Galaxy from your deck. Galaxy Expedition special summons a level 5 or higher Photon or Galaxy monster from your deck. And Numbers Last Hope special summons 2 monsters from your graveyard and then immediately Xyz summons using those 2 monsters. But you can only make 1 more summon after that card has resolved. Next we are playing 3 copies of Galaxy 100 and 1 copy of Foolish Burial. So essentially we're playing 4 Foolish Burials, because Galaxy 100 is a continuous spell that when activated can send a Photon or Galaxy card from your deck to the graveyard. And once per turn when a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon is special summoned, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and either banish 1 card from it or special summon a number Xyz monster to your side of the field, which is really good. It gives you information on what your opponent is playing, and you can banish an important one-off combo piece or a boss monster, which can put your opponent in a really awkward position. Cards that are really good to send to the graveyard by this effect are Photon Emperor, Photon Jumper and Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So that's it for these. I'm also playing 1 Reinforcements of the Army. This card has 2 targets in the deck, Photon Jumper and Photon Vanisher. So not a ton of targets or anything, but you can search for the one that's better for your specific situation. So up until now we're playing 29 cards. The last 11 cards are all board breakers. I don't think Galaxy Eyes is really good at going first. This might change with the new cards were just announced in Japan, but it will probably be at least 4 to 5 months before we get those cards here in the TCG. So I built this deck specifically with going second in mind. And I also personally think the deck is way more fun playing it like this. So the last 11 cards I'm playing in the main deck are double Lightning Storm to destroy our opponent's attack position monsters or their back row, 1 Raigeki and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, these cards explain themselves, 2 Triple Tactics Talents to draw 2 cards or steal one of our opponent's monsters or rip a card out of their hands, 1 Forbidden Droplet to negate our opponent's monster effects, and sending a couple of cards to the graveyard to use Droplet is not that big a deal. There are some cards we want to have in our graveyard. And 1 Change of Heart to steal one of our opponent's monsters. And last but not least, 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, which is not technically a board breaker, but you can use it at the start of your turn to negate one of your opponent's monsters or force out an early negate, or use it during their first turn to disrupt them. Overall a really versatile card. So as you may have noticed, I'm running a lot of 2-offs like Lightning Storm and Triple Tactics. The reason for that is because you don't want to draw into them multiple times, because you can only activate one of these per turn. So for example, drawing 2 Lightning Storms in your opening hand is not good, but 1 Lightning Storm and a Raigeki or a Harpy's Feather Duster is great. And by playing 11 board breaks in a 40 card deck means you have a little over 50% chance of seeing at least 2 of those in your opening hand if you're going second. So that's the reason behind these ratios. So that's it for the main deck, now let's check out the extra deck. We have 2 copies of Galaxy Photon Dragon and 1 copy of Starleech Photon Blast Dragon. Galaxy Photon is very important for consistency. All other light monsters you control gain 500 attack, and it can search any Galaxy or Photon card and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Starleech can special summon a Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon from your hand when it's summoned, but more importantly, it protects all your monsters with 2000 or more attack from being targeted and destroyed. So if you have both of them out at the same time, Starleech also protects itself because of the 500 extra attack it gains from Photon Dragon, which is really cool. Next up we're playing 1 Neo Galaxy Ice Prime Photon Dragon, a regular Prime Photon Dragon and a Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon. The Neo Prime Photon Dragon is our main way to OTK the opponent in combination with our Afterglow Dragon. If Neo Photon Dragon has a Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon as material, it is unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. And at the start of the battle phase you can detach 1 material from this card, which gives it the ability to attack 3 times per turn on monsters. And if you detach Afterglow, its attack points are doubled, so it's unaffected, has around 11,000 or more attack and can attack 3 times, which is insane. So it's very important to summon this card with your regular Photon Dragon and Afterglow so it gets all of its effects. And you can XC summon it simply by ranking up your regular Prime Photon Dragon, which only needs 2 level 8 monsters. Then we have Tachyon Dragon. I started playtesting this card a couple of weeks ago and it came up way more than I thought it would. You can activate its effect at the start of the battle phase to negate all other phase of monster effects, including your own, so you have to be careful with that. And it can attack a second time, so the main reason for me to use this card is because it's the only monster in the deck that can out monsters that cannot be destroyed by battle and or card effects and is in defense position. So by using this card's effect during the battle phase, I can negate those effects, so they can be destroyed. And I can still use Afterglow's effect to double my monster's attack. Otherwise, the only way to deal with those monsters is by hard drawing Triple Tactics or Droplet. But this monster only requires 2 level 8s, so it's easily accessible when I need it. So these are the main 3 cards I use to OTK the opponent. Next up we have 1 Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon, a Full Armor Photon Dragon and a Cypher Blade Dragon. Cypher Dragon can steal one of our opponent's monsters until the end of the turn, but it has a downside: you can only attack your opponent directly with Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon, so it depends on your opponent's board if it's good or not. I use this card mostly to rank up in Full Armor Photon Dragon and Cypher Blade. So first you rank up in Full Armor. This card can once per turn destroy 1 face-up card your opponent controls. And then you can rank it up again from Full Armor immediately into Cypher Blade Dragon. And Cypher Blade can also target and destroy any card on the field. So these are some nice extra options to break your opponent's board. Next, a couple of cards that are nice options if you're forced to go first. Photon Lord can negate and destroy a monster. Can also be handy when going second to negate Nibiru, for example. Hope Harbinger can negate a spell card. And Cypher X-Dragon makes all your light monsters untargetable until the end of the next turn, providing you with some extra protection. And then for the last extra deck cards, a copy of Soulflare Dragon and a copy of Zeus Sky Thunder. Soulflare can recycle one of your Photon or Galaxy monsters in the graveyard, and it can destroy a special summoned monster during your opponent's turn. And then Zeus, I like to play my decks as pure as possible, but Zeus is just too good not to play. If you are unable to OTK your opponent, you can summon this card in your main phase too, and use it during your opponent's turn to board wipe the entire field. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that you can summon it if you have used Galaxy Trance, because this card locks you into summoning Galaxy and Photon monsters only. So these were 14 extra deck cards. I consider the last one a flex spot. You could choose, for example, to run a second copy of Prime Photon Dragon if your first one gets destroyed before you can rank it up into Neo Photon Dragon. Having a second copy helped me win games on multiple occasions, or a second copy of Soulflare to give you some extra options for recycling your cards or getting some of your cards on the field in the graveyard. So that's it for the deck profile portion of the video. Now let's take a look at some gameplay with this deck. So this is a duel I was playing recently on Master Duel against Sword Soul, and they just ended their turn. So let's get through what they've accomplished. They have on the field a Grandmaster. This card can target and negate any monster effect on the field. Sword Soul Long 1 can banish one of my special summoned monsters. And we know that one of his face downs is Sword Soul Blackout because he searched it, which can destroy 2 cards on my field by tributing a Worm monster. So he has 2 pops. His other face down we learn later is Infinite Impermanence, and at the end of his turn my opponent summons Protos, which can declare one type of attribute and then lock us out of summoning that particular attribute. And it can also not be destroyed by card effects. Luckily my opponent declares Dark and not Light, otherwise we would be completely screwed. And this is Master Duel, so we get Max Seed in our draw phase of course. So our opponent has 4 disruptions plus Max C. So how do we play through this? Let's see! First, activate Harpy's Feather Duster to wipe out that back row. No response from our opponent. Next, activate Raigeki to destroy their monsters. My opponent activates Long 1 to burn for 1200 before it gets destroyed. Protos stays on the field because it cannot be destroyed. Activate Triple Tactics Talent to draw 2 cards. Next, use Galaxy Soldier effect, discard Emperor to special summon itself. Now both of their effects activate. Photon Emperor reborns from the graveyard and gives me an extra normal summon, and Galaxy Soldier searches a Galaxy Wizard. Activate Galaxy 100, send Photon Jumper to the graveyard. Photon Jumper activates searching for a Galaxy spell or trap. Normal summon Galaxy Wizard, tribute it to search for Galaxy Summoner. Normal summon Galaxy Summoner and use its effect to reborn Galaxy Wizard. Now use its other effect to change Galaxy Soldier to level 4. Activate Galaxy Wizard again to search for another card. Ash Blossom, damn, negates my wizard, that's unfortunate. Next, time to build the overlay network and exceeds Galaxy Photon Dragon to the field. Detach and use its effect to send Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon to the graveyard. Activate Galaxy Trance to special summon Afterglow from the deck and reborn that Photon Dragon from the graveyard. Now that Photon Dragon is special summoned, we can rip 1 card out of our opponent's extra deck. Goodbye, Bear on the floor. Now, XC summon into Prime Photon Dragon, but of course we immediately rank it up into our ultimate boss monster, which is unaffected by our opponent's monster effects. Neo Prime Photon Dragon. But we still have a problem. The Protos is in defense mode and cannot be destroyed by card effects. And our monster can attack 3 times but only on monsters, so we need a way to get rid of it. We equip Photon Orbital on our Emperor to send it to the graveyard to search Photon Vanisher. This monster can special summon and search Galaxy Eyes. And our Galaxy Photon Dragon can change its level to 4 or 8. So now we overlay these monsters to summon Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, which is very useful to out cards that cannot be destroyed by battle and or card effects. Time for the battle phase. Detach to activate Tachyon to negate all monsters' effects currently on the field. Next, activate Neo Prime, detached, but its effects are negated because of our own Tachyon's effect. But the effect of Afterglow Dragon in our graveyard is not negated, so it special summons a Galaxy Eyes from the deck and doubles all our numbers Xyz monsters' attack points. 6 and 8,000 attack, time to battle, and our opponent scoops it up. So in this case we didn't really need Tachyon Dragon specifically. We also could have summoned another Galaxy Eyes from our extra deck to swing over Protos. But if our opponent had a monster that cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, like Evil Hero Malicious Bane, for example, in defense mode, we need Tachyon Dragon to get rid of it. Or hard draw Triple Tactics Talent or Droplet. And Tachyon is obviously way more accessible. So I thought let's show off how you can deal with monsters like that with this deck. So that's it for the deck profile and gameplay. Let me know in the comments if you have any recommendations to make this deck even better. And have a great day. See you later.